There we go. Finally, we are now recording. Hello, 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 and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Uncovering Greatness podcast. As always, I am your host, Sully, and today I am joined by the greatest processor on planet Earth, the lead processor at Uncovering Greatness, Nicole Mitchell. Nicole, how you doing?
Good, thank you, Sully. How are you?
Good, thank you. So, this is my favorite topic. I know it's your favorite topic.
I can't wait.
It's exciting times, guys. It's exciting times. June, 6 months into 2025. Resolutions. So I did some research for you. I
can't wait.
And I asked, how many people quit their New Year's resolutions by the middle of the year? And it said 23% of people quit their resolutions by the end of the first week of January.
I was going to say, I think the stat is like 90 something percent quit by the end of January or the end of February.
So I've got your 43% quit by the end of January, and around 64% to 80% have given up before June. But this is a study done in 2020.
I was gonna say I think most people have given up by by Valentine's Day.
I think most people have forgotten what their resolutions were by the end of New Year's.
That too.
And I think for me, so like the top reasons, I think was more probably the thing that stuck out for me. And I think that in terms of like what you do as a processor, I think that if you combine the top reasons, I think that with processing, you'd probably be able to achieve more, my belief.
Well, I think most people create New Year's resolutions without being clear on why they're creating them, because they're a nice to have. So there are things they want to do, but there's no, like, I want to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
So my New Year's resolution is to lose, 10 kilos by the end of the year.
Yeah.
This year I'm going to lose 10 kilos. But what is the reason behind it? Right? Like, most people don't think about the actual result that they want to create. Like, what is their reasoning behind wanting to lose weight?
Yeah, I think this is you see, this is why we do this.
And so when it comes to New Year's resolutions, it's people, there's no thought process. I shouldn't say there's no thought process. There's not a lot of thought process behind it. People go, yeah, this year I want to create more money. I want to get a better job.
Yes.
I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to start a business.
Ooh, seen that one a lot.
And people do that. They make New Year's resolutions and then they go in January and they resign.
Shucks.
And it without a huge amount of thought process or without a huge awareness of the consequences.
So I think this is where, like, so for example, we're not just specifically talking about New Year's resolutions, but it's just a start. So I think because that helps everybody understand where we're at, it sets a little bit of context. But for me, it's like goals, right? So I've always had this thing around goals that should you not be able to move or change a goal?
In what sense?
So, like, let's just say, so you use the example of I want to lose 10 kilos by the end of the year. So I'm giving myself 12 months to lose this weight. And I get to December 31st and I've only lost 5 kilos. Should I not be able to go, okay, cool, I've lost 5 kilos. I didn't reach the goal, but in the next 6 months now for 2026, I'm going to lose those 5 kilos that I wanted to get into 10.
Well, let's just take a step back, because most people never get that far.
Okay.
So that in itself is unrealistic before you even start. Yep. But what my experience is in those cases, people will focus on what they haven't done instead of what they have done.
Okay.
So they'll beat themselves up because they only lost 6 kilos or 5 kilos and they've got another 4 to lose.
Yeah.
They'll beat themselves up because they didn't hit the 10.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll go, oh, I'm so bad. I said I wanted to lose 10 and I only lost 6 kilos and now I've still got 4 to lose. And what's the point of setting another goal because I didn't reach the goal? So, one, they don't focus on what what did they actually do?
Mm-hmm.
So they don't celebrate the wins of I lost 6.
Got you. Yes.
And then 2, they don't go, okay, cool, so let's move the goalposts. Or what was the reason why I didn't lose the other 4? Was, what, and they don't look at the whole picture. They, I say, create unrealistic or these false expectations.
I mean, one of the top reasons is setting unrealistic goals why people quit.
And that's exactly it. It's that people are not they're not looking at the bigger picture of when they create the goal. And then, in terms of, let's say, look, life happens. So let's say you set a goal to lose weight, and then maybe something happens, like you lose a loved one, or you lose your job, or something happens, and so you get stressed, and then, come the end of the year, you've already lost 6 kilos. People don't stop and look and go, well, actually this year I, lost a loved one and I lost my job. So it would be perfectly natural for me not to have lost the 10 kilos. People go, oh, I'm so bad. I'm such a loser. I only lost 6.
I'm not setting a goal never again.
Correct. Instead of looking at the bigger picture of this is the reality behind it. Or maybe it took me, I don't know, the first 4 months of the year, I wasn't able to exercise because I hurt my knee. Or, who knows what happened. I fell down the stairs and I twisted my knee, and I wasn't able to use my knee for the first 4 months.
Yeah.
So, and people often don't look at those things because the goal is too far out.
Okay.
They go, 12 months.
Cool.
And then they forget after 12 months, they forget what happened in the first 6 months. So it's unrealistic in terms of the visions that people create. They're not clear on the specifics of it. So yes, absolutely. What did you say it was? People setting unrealistic goals. And I think that is, people are not realistic with their goals. Like, I'm going to quit my job and start a business. If you have no plan behind it, you have no structure, if you have not decided, right, this is my plan, and this is when I'm going to quit my job, and this is how I'm going to do it, and this is how I'm going to generate an income, or, I'm going to cash in my...
what's this pension? What's it called? Provident Fund.
Provident Fund, that thing. Cash in my Provident Fund. My Provident Fund is going to last me 6 months. Okay, if I live off of this much every month, I need this much to invest in my business to get it going. People don't plan and have a system or a structure in place, and, in terms of, because they create this unrealistic goal of, I'm quitting my job tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so I know that's one of the reasons why New Year's resolutions don't work, because if we just say I'm going to lose 10 kilos in the next 3 months, well, what's your plan? What system are you going to use? What eating program are you going to use? And there are thousands of eating plans, and there are so many different ways you can do it. Do you have a tried and tested one? Have you found one that works for you?
Yeah.
And are you going to redo that one? Or are you going to try and find the next best thing? And so if we look at losing weight, that's what happens. People don't plan. They don't come up with a system. They just go, you know what? I'm just going to give up alcohol.
And you're somebody who drinks every day, for example.
And then they don't find somebody to hold them accountable either. Because, and especially food and alcohol and eating is such a great one, because it's probably one of the most common ones for New Year.
Yeah. Weight loss one.
Weight loss or alcohol. I'm going to give up alcohol. And then they don't have a plan. So I'm going to clean out all the rubbish out of my kitchen.
Yes. Because now I want to lose weight, right? So that's step 1 of the plan.
Step 1 is I'm going to make a plan of I'm going to clean out all the rubbish out of my kitchen and go and donate it to somewhere. And then 2, I'm going to use an eating plan of, I don't know, maybe you just decide to go fresh fruit and vegetables. And, right, have you got a grocery shopping list? Have you got, you know, are you aware of the fruits that are in season and can you eat them? I mean, it sounds so silly, but it is. It's all of those things, and people don't plan on goals and things like that.
No, I mean, as I'm listening to you speak, I'm like, it may sound incredibly like pedantic, but like if you want to achieve that goal, you've got to take it down. You've got to break it down to like the nitty gritty of it all, right? Because if you still got a bunch of chocolates in your fridge and you say you want to lose weight, all you're doing is tempting yourself.
The very
setting
first
yourself
thing you
up.
have, the very first time you have a bad day,
Mm,
guess what you're gonna do?
yeah,
I eat the chocolates.
you're gonna
You
smash.
told
chocolate.
yourself you can't have chocolate. So what do? You look for chocolate.
Chocolates.
Chocolate, 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 chocolate.
Mm,
I can't have chocolate. And then the brain goes, I need chocolate. I need chocolate. So what do? We go eat all the chocolate.
yeah,
And,
it's just
and
one
then
piece.
it's like, I'm such a failure.
Mm,
And even something as simple as, some people, like, I'm going to become more healthy. Well, what does that mean? Okay, cool. I'm going to drink 2 liters of water a day. Well, have you bought a whole bunch of water bottles and left them all around the place so that everywhere you go, there's a water bottle? I mean, it sounds silly, but that's how you need reminders. You need that accountability. So you put water bottles everywhere and you go, oh, I haven't had my water. Okay, cool.
You know, it's funny. I can't remember what podcast I was listening to, and a guy said exactly that. He said, if you come into my house or my car, you will see water bottles all over the place because that is my reminder to drink water. Because I am not going to, if I don't have those reminders, I'm not going to make the actual effort to go and fill water. If there isn't a bottle around me that has water in it already, I'm not going to drink. So I've set myself up to always, wherever I go, there's water around me. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Why don't you just fill your water normally? And now, as you said that, I was like, I get it now because it's easier to
it's
not.
a form of accountability.
Yeah.
You're planning. I plan to drink water, so I'm not used to drinking water, so I need to leave water bottles everywhere I go. Why? So that I remember to drink water. And this is where, in terms of resolutions, I'm looking at your screen and it says, the top reasons people quit: setting unrealistic goals,
Yeah.
lack of accountability, no plan or system in place, relying too much on motivation, not discipline.
Yeah. The funny thing is, you didn't see my screen, but you were going through all of those already. That was the funny part. I was like, how is she doing this?
And it's just understanding that is the reason why people don't achieve goals, whether they have New Year's resolutions or not, because people will, right, today is the day. From tomorrow, we are going on a healthy eating plan. From tomorrow, our sales are going up. From tomorrow, we're going to make calls. And then there's no list. There's no call sheets, there's no nothing, and then I can't understand why they didn't make more calls.
Yeah, you just sent me back to a couple of months ago where I said that for Entrepreneur Hangout this Thursday, where I said I'm gonna do 100 calls, I think, or something like that. I can't remember what I said, but some ridiculous number that I've never done before. And I probably didn't even do 10% of what I said I was gonna do. But I was like, I'm going to do it. I set myself an unrealistic goal, one. Number two, the accountability, because I was ducking and diving everybody, so nobody could hold me accountable. Didn't really have a plan or system in place. And wouldn't say I was relying on motivation. I was probably relying more on frustration in that situation to actually be like, you know what, I'm going to do it.
Or you were relying on the motivation, not the discipline, because the discipline of having to make calls every day was hard. But the motivation of, flip, I'm going to prove these people wrong.
Yeah.
I'm going to show them. And so you're relying on the motivation of it. Of that, in that moment, that was your motivation.
Yeah.
Which is often why people make New Year's resolutions, because they're chatting with their buddies and their ego gets in the way.
Yes.
And, oh, she said she's going to do it, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah. She said you're going to make so many calls, so I'm going to make double that amount. Yeah.
And our ego gets in the way. We've got no plan. And then we don't create any accountability. So, hey, Sully, my plan is to drink 2 liters of water a day. Is it okay if I send you a message every day and that you know how much water I drank? Or, you know, I'm going to download this app on my phone every week. Would you check in with me that I'm uploading my figures onto my app? You know, those are, and this is where apps are great because they can hold you accountable, but you can use apps to create discipline. So, and there's, I mean, if we're talking food, and drinking water, there's hundreds of different apps. You know, even
too many.
In terms of tracking your sales calls and things like that, there's lots of different ways you can do that. You know, in terms of call trackers and things, there's a lot of different apps. I think just in this day and age, just about anything and everything you want to do can be tracked.
1,000%. There's
You
no
just
reason
have
to
to
not.
be willing to allow yourself to be held accountable and have the discipline of filling in the app every day, which, you know, a lot of people, that's what they struggle with. But that's the value of apps, is it's your cell phone is in your hand and it's there and it can be used.
And I mean, so I'm just thinking also while we're speaking, because for example, if we take like our business, we're a small team, the importance of setting not goals, which we call rocks, that we have to achieve, right? And we have things we need to do quarterly, which means that there's something to hold each other accountable to. But something I feel we've implemented has been sort of managing the unrealisticness of things, right? So if somebody's going to say, oh, I'm going to do 100 calls, the question in the week, the question usually is, are you sure you can do that?
No, well, how many did you do last week?
Yeah.
Well, what's the most amount of calls you've ever done? So, and this is where, like, in terms of driving leads, it's like, okay, so how many leads are you generating every week? Okay, what's the most you've done? So if we look at our sheet, you know, maybe 200 is the most you've done in a week.
Yeah.
Okay, so could you do 200 consistently every week? Well, maybe not. You know, that week was a good week because of, you know, X, Y, and Z was happening that week. So, okay, so can we make it 150? Okay, cool, because now that is realistic.
Yeah.
If somebody's hitting 100 all the time, you could go, okay, so I'm going to set you a target of hitting 120 because you have consistently hit 100 every week for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Or the last 9 weeks or 12 weeks or whatever it is. I'm going to now ask you to push yourself. But if you're asking somebody to go from 100 to 500,
you're setting
by next week, you're setting them up to fail. And also people don't think about, like, I mean, I see it all the time with people making phone calls. Like, how many calls are you going to make this week? Oh, I'm going to make 200 calls this week. Okay, so how many calls did you make last week? 5. Okay, so how are you going to make 200 calls? Well, I'm just going to get on the phone and I'm going to phone. And then you go, okay, so how much time do you have every day to make your phone calls?
Yeah.
Well, I've probably got an hour a day. Okay, so how many calls can you make in an hour? Maybe 6.
Yeah.
Okay, 6 times 5 is 30. Okay, so why don't we set yourself the task of 20?
Ooh, okay.
Because you only did 5 last week.
Oh, yes.
And the most you've ever done is 5. Okay, you think you can do 5 every day for 5 days. That's 25. So let's set yourself the goal of 20 or 5 every day. Which one do you want to pick? 5 every day. Okay, cool. 5 every day. So that's the goal of 25. Okay, great. Right now you're setting yourself a realistic goal based on your time, your effort, your energy, what you're capable of.
Yeah.
Because you know those 5 calls I made last week? I did them on Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock.
Just at the end.
Just at the end. Because I knew I had to get calls in. Because I knew I was going to be speaking to you today. I didn't want to come here and not have made any. Okay, so you can make 5 calls in a day. Right. Can you do that every day? Yes. Okay, cool. So let's set you that goal.
Yeah.
Not let's set the goal of 200.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, some people might, and I think for me, the way that I look at that is it's so important to actually set realistic goals for yourself, right? Whether it's health, whether it's business. I mean, we can unpack this thing for everything, right? For finances, for whatever it might be. Like, so for example, Barry always teaches, he speaks where people say that they're going to be a billionaire. And then he breaks that down.
So what's the most amount of money you've ever made?
There we
And
go.
people go, 20,000 rand. Well, there's a big difference between 20,000 rand and $1 billion.
Yeah, and it's not, and I've come to realize that it's not shooting somebody's dream down or their goal down. It's just bringing them to some form of reality,
So
right?
it doesn't mean you can't reach for the billion.
Yeah.
Okay. It just means you're not going to be a billionaire in the next year.
Yes. No,
Okay.
definitely not.
So what can you do in the next year?
Mm.
Okay, what could you do every single month? Could you grow your business by 10% or 20% in the next month? Okay, what do you need to do to grow your business? Okay, cool. I need to make an extra, 10 phone calls. I need to find an extra 5 clients. I need to do X. Okay, great. So let's do that. Let's grow your business from 20,000 to 50,000 in the next year. That's achievable.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, where often people, I don't say get it wrong, but they focus on the wrong things. So, that one setting unrealistic goal to go from 20,000 to $1 billion in 12 months, that's an unrealistic goal because,
It's pretty realistic.
and it's not knocking people. It's
No, it's just
most people have no idea what it takes to make R1 million. Never mind R1 billion.
most people have 100,000 rand.
But if you are making 20,000 rand a month and you double your business to 40,000 rand a month, you're way better off
Yep.
than where you were.
Mm.
And this is where it's make sure that your goals are realistic, but also make sure that you're going to push yourself. So if you say, I'm earning 20,000 and I want to increase it to 21,000, well, for most people, they can do more than that.
Yep.
They could do 25.
And that's a push. That could be a push.
That could be a push.
Yeah.
It also may not be a push, but everybody's different.
Yeah.
But it is setting yourself up for goals that are going to stretch you, but also you can do consistently and consistently. So it's like, could you grow your business by 5 clients every month for the next 12 months?
Yeah.
For some people, 5 clients,
Will revolutionize their business.
but also 5 clients, like there's no way that they're going to get 5 new clients in 4 weeks. They may be able to get 1. So, okay, push for 1. But, if you're selling chickens, for example,
Yeah.
finding 5 new clients
It's
doable. If you're selling properties,
Yeah, you gotta chill
so
out.
selling
5 houses.
that are worth 5 million rand ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
So it's just, everybody's different, but and you've got to be willing to push yourself, but also to be very aware of what you are capable of so that you can grow yourself without setting yourself up to fail.
What role do you think social media then plays in? Because I now look at Nicole and I go, yo, this year I watched Nicole between January and June. Yo, Nicole's bought a new car. She's moved into a new place. She's got all these new clothes. I want to do that. I'm going to do that. My goal is to have what Nicole has in the next 6 months.
Well, do you have a father that pays for all Nicole's stuff?
Oh, no, I don't. So I need to get one.
And I think this is where, we joke about it, but I think this is where social media is quite challenging because it doesn't give people the whole perspective.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't give you the whole story.
No.
And, maybe Nicole's been working on, I don't know, a 5 million rand deal for the last 6 months. And he came in January and she's taken that money and she's invested it and what have you. We don't know that.
Yeah.
And this is where social media is so challenging, is because you don't know the backstory. You don't know all the background. You don't have the big picture. So and you also don't know the challenges, the upsets, maybe Nicole's grandfather died and left her money and she got all this inheritance. We don't know that.
No clue. Because Nicole's
So-
not going to say that. She's not going to put that out there on social media that my grandfather died and I got a massive inheritance.
No,
No, she's not going to show me that. She's just going to show me a new car.
correct.
Mm.
And so, and this is where social media is so challenging, because people set unrealistic goals based on what they perceive with other people.
Yeah.
And I mean, we see it in everyday life, never mind social media. But social media does make it worse, because people think they know what's happening. So I use the example, Michaela and I just recently worked at a CrossFit event. And when you look at those CrossFit athletes and you go onto their pages, a lot of them are putting posts of, just catching a rest, taking a break. They don't show you the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours that they've put in, because they're not going to show you the 300,000 sit-ups that they did and the 300,000, lifting the barbell that they did. Why? Because it's boring to watch.
Okay.
And you're not going to see that. They also don't want people to see their blood, sweat, and tears and the amount of heartbreak that they had and those kind of things. So people kind of look and go, oh, these guys are having a rest. Oh, I can take a rest too.
I've been pushing myself so hard. CrossFit athletes rest. I also need a rest.
And so that they don't take into account the whole picture. So, and this is where it's challenging on social media, because you're not getting the whole perspective. You're not seeing, the heartbreak that athlete went through, losing coaches and changing coaches and, trying to find a new coach, and that they went through 6 coaches to find their latest coach. They don't share all that stuff. And here you think they've just been working damn flippin' hard. Meanwhile, they had blood, sweat, and tears trying to find a new coach. And it's the new coach, yes, that's made the difference. It wasn't the hours and hours and hours and hours of practice they put in. It was the fact that they found a new coach.
Just added a few tweaks to what they do.
You changed something which made a significant difference. We don't know that. And then everyone goes, oh, it's because they put in hours. Or, the flip side of that, well, someone will go, oh, it's because of their new coach. I need to get that coach. And then jump ship.
The new coach, but you don't do the work.
And that's the problem with social media. So
yeah, I mean, for me, the more we've been talking around like social media and like you just said, the full perspective is, it's not to say I didn't know that, but like now I've started to pay more attention to it. And when you pay more attention to it, when you try and sort of unpack what's happening behind this post, it's such a different perspective. Because we do events, right? What you see is the event. And somebody said that to me a while ago. All I see is the event. I've never seen this back end that goes on of putting things in cars and packing this, and like the 1.5, 2 day setup that goes into the day of setup that goes into running an event.
filling water bottles,
filling just the
filling
daily tasks. You don't see that. What you see is an event, and you're like, wow, what an amazing... I want to do that. Yeah, you don't. This is... it's work.
And and this is where I think, when you set a goal, do you know what you're actually setting? So if you set a goal, I want to do an event, I want to have people there. Are you aware of everything that it takes? Are you going, hey, Barry, can I come shadow you and your team for a week?
Yeah.
To come see what it takes? Are you being clear on what the goal is? Like, are you, if you want to make more calls or whatever your goal is, you want to lose weight, are you aware of all the factors that affect it?
And that's so important, because I don't, and like I said in the beginning, I don't even think there's I've set some goals that I even haven't went into like the nitty gritty of it. I think about with what I went through in December. See, you guys didn't see what I went through in December. I just rocked up. Yeah, I was fine. But like the whole of December, I thought I was going to die. So but even that, for me, it was very clear. I needed to lose weight. I didn't have a number. I didn't say that I need to lose 10 kilos. I didn't say I need to work out like this or I need to eat like this. I need to lose the damn weight. That was it. And it was so crazy because I went so far. And I think I told you this in one of our sessions. I went so far that I ended up hurting myself because the focus was wrong. I feel. And the goal was wrong.
I'm focusing on exercising. I have to move. I have to move. I'm going to lose weight by moving. Instead of what was the plan?
Yeah.
What was the goal? Well, the goal was to get healthy, but exactly how?
Exactly. Yeah.
Are you going to eat properly? Are you going to drink more water? Are you going to flush your kidneys? Are you going to do a liver detox? Are you going to...
What are you talking about?
Are you getting a, colon irrigation? Whatever it is. It's just understanding what is the outcome that you are looking to create. And then what is the plan? Who are you going to be accountable to? Who's going to help you? Because accountability is not somebody just pushing you. Accountability is somebody who can see that you're doing damage and go, whoa, stop.
Yeah.
You need to take a break.
Yeah.
And are you willing to have somebody like that in your life when you set yourself goals?
So do you think that that's what, because as you said that, I was like, oh, maybe that's the problem. When people think accountability, they think somebody that's going to push me and be on my back and be on my neck consistently versus somebody who's just going to call you out on your shit. Like you said, Nicole, you said you're going to drink 2 liters of water a day. You haven't filled anything on the app for 2 days. Do you still want me to do this or what do we do?
100%. And people are not willing to actually do that. They think accountability is, I have to be nice to you and say, oh, you did such a good job. No, sometimes accountability is helping somebody account for their abilities, keep track of their abilities. In other words, doing the things they said they were going to do. Sully, can you fill out the app every day?
Yes.
Okay. When do you want me to check in?
Wednesdays.
Okay. Every Wednesday?
Every Wednesday at 2:00.
Okay. I have a meeting on a Wednesday at 2. So is it okay if I check in at 4?
Cool. That works for me.
Okay. Would you like me to phone you, WhatsApp you, or come to your house?
Phone me.
Okay, cool. Great. So then I'm very clear on how I'm holding you accountable.
To my ability to do the thing.
So I'm going to phone you on a Wednesday at 4:00. And if I don't phone you on a Wednesday at 4:00, whether you've done your stuff or not, you should be phoning me saying you said you'd hold me accountable.
And then that's a good way for you to find the right people in your circle.
Correct. Find people that are going to help you get what you want.
Sorry. I was just thinking about sales implosion that we had this weekend. Where I feel like a lot of people had the realization that their circle is their circle's not great. And I was blown away by that because I was like, yeah, I've never seen that before. People are like, yeah, my friends are not. And that was just talk about accountability.
So, and this is it. A friend is someone who finds out what you want and helps you get it. And I mean, that's Alan's definition of a friend. Obviously, there's more to it, but Alan C. Walter from a Advanced Coaching and Leadership Center, that's pretty much what he says. It's a friend is someone who finds out what you want and helps you get it.
Yeah.
And so that may be, Sully, you want us to get healthy. Okay, Sully, exercising 27 times a week and not eating is not healthy.
Yeah.
I know you said you wanted to get healthy, and I know you need to lose weight, but what you're doing is not healthy.
Yeah. That's an interesting flip, actually.
And so I find out what you want, and then I'm helping you get it by making sure you are not doing too much of the wrong things or too much of the right things, which become the wrong things.
Yeah.
And this is where, in terms of resolutions, it's just, are you clear on what you want? Have you created a plan on how to get there?
Mm-hmm.
Have you got somebody to hold you accountable?
Yeah.
And what disciplines are you willing to put in place? Yeah. And Alan actually talks about being unreasonable. He talks reasonableness and being unreasonable.
Yeah.
And reasonable and this is where a lot of people get it wrong. Oh, you need to be reasonable. Reasonable is, I agree that I'm stupid, I'm no good, I can't do it. I'm being reasonable. This morning, I was incredibly reasonable with myself. I'm tired. I've had a rough week. It's cold outside. It's raining. And you know what? I don't feel like going to CrossFit. I was very reasonable with myself. So I stayed in bed. Well, when I realized how reasonable I was with myself, it is now unreasonable. I am not going to justify, blame, or whatever. I am going to take the position of tough love, and tomorrow morning, no matter how late I go to bed tonight, I will go to gym tomorrow.
Yep.
Because it is unreasonable for me not to.
Ooh, okay.
And it is unreasonable for me to justify, say it's okay. And too many people are too reasonable with themselves.
True story.
So I know for this week, I need to be unreasonable with myself at 5 o'clock in the morning. I will not be sleeping late.
Yeah.
I am going to have some tough love with myself. And I'm going to make myself go to CrossFit. And I'm going to put some accountability in place. I'm going to let my CrossFit buddy know I will see you there tomorrow morning. I am also going to make sure that in terms of transport getting to CrossFit, I'm going to make sure that somebody wakes me up. My alarm clock is set. I'm going to make sure that I have the means to get there.
And I think that's interesting because you're setting a plan for tomorrow. Right? You have the goal is I need to get to CrossFit because I was reasonable with myself this morning. Tomorrow I need to go. But instead of just going, okay, tomorrow I'm going to CrossFit. Because that's what most people will do, right? I didn't go today, tomorrow I'm going. Hey, tomorrow can come and the same thing is probably going to happen. But instead, you saying, I'm going to create a plan. Here's the plan. I'm going to, contact my CrossFit buddy. So now there's somebody who's going to hold me accountable. Correct. I said I'm coming. That person's probably going to call me at 5:30 or 6 o'clock and say, hey, where are you? You're not here.
100%.
And that's what you want. You're not going to, and also you're not going to ignore their call. Very important.
Correct.
2, you're going to make sure you go to bed on time so that you can wake up at 5.
Yep.
You are going to, what's the other thing you said?
Going to do things like set the alarm clock.
Set the alarm clock.
And also
the transport.
Make sure that I have
a means to get
there and also back home because I need to get back home.
Yeah, because tomorrow could come and you get up and everybody's left the house and you're like, but everybody's left, so I can't go to CrossFit.
Because I know that, in terms of Michaela has meetings, Barry has clients, so I need to make a plan to make sure that someone can take me to CrossFit, but not only that, they can also take me home after CrossFit because I have clients at home. So it would be way easier for me to go, it's okay, you guys go, I'll stay at home.
Yeah, because
I got clients and, it's challenging for someone to give me a lift home because, we're only got 2 cars at the moment and Michaela needs to go there and Barry needs to go there. So, no, I need to make the plans now to make sure that tomorrow I have a lift to CrossFit and a lift home so that I do not back out.
You know why I love that? Because that example that you just gave could be applied to anything.
Correct.
It can literally be applied if you need to make calls for your business. You can set that up just like that. Making sure my phone is charged, making sure that I have airtime or data. You can do all those things.
I've got the list. I've got a list. I know from this time to this time I'm going to call, those kind of things. So, yeah. It can be applied to anything.
Any final thoughts before we wrap this one up? Everyone's favorite topic.
I would say goals are important. They are what create the future. And it's important for us to be aware. Don't negate your goals.
Yeah.
But at the same time, create goals that set you up to win. That are going to allow you to grow and keep growing, not goals that are going to set you up to fail.
Oh, love that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, listening, wherever you are. We hope that you got value. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts. We do this every week for you guys. So, you know, if there's anything you guys want us to talk about or you'd like to hear Nicole's teaching on it, please let us know in the comment section. That, you know, that will be great. And yeah, we hope that you found value in this week's episode, and we hope that this week's episode has helped you uncover your greatness. So we will see you guys again next week. Be awesome. Thank you, Nicole, for your time. I know you're very busy. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.